San Antonio.
So you lived in San Antonio since your mid-20s?
I was 18. Actually, at the end of my 17 year, I turned 18 there. I was new in Texas when I turned 18, and went to school there. I mean, went to school there. Sorry, I started working there. And basically a couple of years later, I became a barber and got known in the barber industry. At the time when I became a barber, barbering wasn't like a cool thing, but I had just lost a job, and
It was something to pick up.
it was something where I went to go get a haircut, and the guy that was cutting hair, he was Mexicano, he was Mexican, and he didn't speak English. And me and him started, just getting to know each other, conversating, and basically he just offered me work because when I told him that I cut my own hair, he's like, "Hey man, I need help around here, like,
What's up?
down." And that was like a Friday, and so I showed up on a Monday. And when I showed up, he's looking at me like, "Oh, you're really about it, huh? Like, you really want this job?" And I'm like, "Yeah, bro. Like, you said I could come to work." So I show up, and then he looks at me because I have Walmart clippers, like not professional. I don't know about.
You had a Walmart, not wall clippers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't know about brands or what to use as a barber. I was just whatever it was cheap and affordable, I would use that. Those loud clippers, right? The ones that get stuck. Like. So yeah, man. He looks at me and he's like laughing at me, and he's like, "Dude, we're gonna go to the supply store and get you like legit clippers." So he basically fronted me the tools, and he said, "By the end of the day, if you make the money, you pay me back." So we did. He got me the whole kit, the trimmers, the clippers, and he told me, "You're gonna give me 50% of whatever you're making." So at first, back in that was in 2006. And this is in San Antonio, so the culture there, like, there was a lot of old school cats that were still going into barbershops. Most youngsters that will get fades will go to salons, beauty salons. I don't know if you guys remember that era.
Yes.
We were getting our fades by ladies.
Yes.
Yeah,
Facts.
Yeah, that's the way it
Facts.
was back then. So I end up, start cutting hair, but I'm only doing fades. So anybody that was older, I didn't take that customer because I didn't know how to do shear cutting or cutting or with combs or whatever. So I did at the beginning. I was like, you know what? I'm losing money. Like, I need to learn. I need to pick up. So these guys were like, hey, we're not gonna teach you, but you watch us and you learn. That was their strategy of like, you got to learn just by watching. So I did. I started paying attention to the way they cut hair, and then I started doing it. And next thing you know, 2 weeks later, I was already doing regular haircuts, scissor cutting, doing tapers. And then that's when the taper haircut came in as very popular, and also designs. 2 months in, there's this young kid comes in at the end of the day, and he's asking me for a design on his haircut. So then I'm like, "What's a design?" And then he's like, "Yeah, some lines and stuff." And he was asking for like a little part or whatever. So I ended up doing like a little swirl design. And he loved it so much that he sent me some more kids, or other kids saw him and they ended up showing up, and they're like, "Hey man, like, can I get a design too?" And that's kind of how I started doing designs. And now I was in the brown side of town. So the east side was black side of town. So all the Mexicans would go to the east side to get their designs or like whatever hairstyles they weren't able to get in the south side, which is the brown side. And so now they had a barber that can do that for them.
Boom, saved them the drive.
I'm cutting out the local kids, all the neighborhood, all the high schools around that were coming in, getting designs. And anything they came to ask me for, like, they would bring either a T-shirt or a drawing, because back then our phones weren't like now. We can look up an image.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I started, or I would sketch it out and then do it on a haircut. And yeah, man, never imagined that that would become what it is now. Like, now barbering is a hip hop element. Like, everybody has a barber, and barbering became huge. You know what I mean? And I was able to be a part of that, like how it became popular. I was one of the barbers that were in that era when we were actually making it pop.
These